Whew. All right, guys. Good evening. Welcome back to another beautiful Thursday. It is I, Coco7 Loco. In the background, there's going to be Ketchup and Core, so you will be hearing them chitter chatter, barking. That's just what the kids do. So happy Thursday, guys. I hope everyone is doing well. I want to let you guys know for catching up for this week of this part of the segment, we're going to be doing some catching up. This week has actually been pretty chill, so I can't complain too much about it on work. It's giving me plenty of time to kind of work out, readjust my eating habits going forward in the future, and also has given me some time to do a little bit more gaming. So last week we did the Dragon's Dogma 2. We got to play some more Dragon's Dogma 2. The week prior we did the Which Spring Are game review, so I hope you guys did enjoy that. So I did mention last week that I'm confident that I'm going to beat Banishers, and so for this week it is going to be Banishers Ghost of New Eden's game review, because yes, I did beat the game. It's just one of 3 endings. I chose to ascend my wife. Spoiler alert, if you haven't played the game, you get 3 options. One is to banish your wife, ascend your wife, or reincarnate your wife from the dead. So I chose to ascend my wife, and now she is in a better place. So it was a very good game, very good ending. And so for today, we will go over the game review, the mechanics of the game, and overall my opinion, and just some analysis over Banishers Ghost of New Eden. So it is the second to last week to April, so it is slowly coming to a close, everybody. So soon it's going to be May, and who knows what's coming out for May in terms of games or game announcements. So I hope you guys are excited as I am, because we're almost at the half-year mark already in 2024. My goodness, we are almost at the half-year mark. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go over Banishers Ghost of New Eden. Let me see if I can go ahead and push that little button right there. Charging, and I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope everyone is doing good also this week. Hopefully it hasn't been too crazy for everyone. Definitely let me know how your week's been, and let's have this open chat conversation going. So I started this game back in February when it officially came out. So February was one of those crazy months. So not only was I playing Banishers at the time, I was also playing Persona 3 Reload. Final Fantasy 7 came out towards the end of the month. Dragon's Dogma came out right around, Dragon's Dogma 2 came out right around the same time. So it was literally, Banishers Ghost of New Eden was competing with 3 top bangers in terms of RPG story drivenness for me. So it took a little longer than usual, but we got to it. And then on top of that, I found Which Spring Are, and I am playing Baldur's Gate 3 low-key. So like games were coming out on top of it, or if not, they were on sale on top of Banishers. But I did not forget it. I truly enjoyed it. I am a sucker for horror movies, horror story genre, so to have a game that's enwrapped in an immersive story of love and tragedy with horror of specters, ghosts, ghouls, goblins, demons, and all that other stuff, he pretty much sold me. So that's kind of what drew me to the game. So Banishers Ghost of New Eden, the official rating I'm giving the game is a 4 out of 5. So I'm going to discuss why I chose the game. Did I beat the game or not? What I thought about the game. Is it worth buying? And then I just want to let you guys know how I rate the game is based on the 3 criterias: the mechanics of the game, the storyline of the game, and the graphics of the game. Graphics of the game have to be, it's a PS5 right now, so I expect you to be above standards, if not spectacular graphics. Storyline, if you're gonna, I am a action RPG person, so a really good story is what's going to drive me to keep playing it. There are exceptions to the rules, and usually the exception to the rules is the mechanics of the game. If the mechanics of the game are unphenomenally spectacular, you will kind of win the game award for me. So Armored Core 6 came out last year. If you guys haven't checked out my YouTube, Coco7Loco on YouTube, I break down everything. Check out the IG posts, the TikToks, Facebook. Shoot. Yeah, and like you can see, I am a huge Armored Core fan. Armored Core has like 4 different endings, I think. The graphics were phenomenal for Armored Core 6. Storyline was short and sweet to the point. It was pretty much do a bunch of missions, get your mech to be better and better, and then you can kind of solve what's going on. So the storyline wasn't that great, but what sold the game was the absolute mechanics of the game. You're talking about, I am almost this close to playing Mobile Suit Gundam, and I get to tarnish and massacre my enemies. Oh, by the way, my bosses would non-stop slaughter my soul. So the mechanics supersede the storyline. And so that's what I kind of go with when it comes to the 3 criteria. Graphics had to be phenomenal. Your storyline has to be great. If it's not great, then the mechanics have to make up for the storyline of the game. Graphics alone won't save you. Banishers got the 4 out of 5 because the graphics were actually pretty decent. I will say I would probably give the graphics maybe a 4 out of 5. The storyline for the game, I was originally going to give it a 4 out of 5, but as I kept playing through it and when I started doing a little bit more of the side quests, it kind of dropped down to like a 3 out of 5. And then the mechanics of the game was a solid 3 out of 5, just because there wasn't enough mechanics in the game to allow me to be a lot more flexible in how I'm moving and how I'm fighting. Especially when you're playing with Red, not Antea. Antea has a lot of skills and mechanics that allows you to kind of like move, but with Red, his fighting style is very rudimentary, so you're kind of limited on like what you could really do. So that's it for Banishers Ghost of Eden. So I'm going to add something new to this, and you guys definitely let me know how you feel about it. It's called 5 Good Things and 5 Bad Things. So the 5 good things about Banishers Ghost of Eden, I have the concept of fighting as a ghost and human pair was spectacular. I've never played a game like that where you can swap between the two, between your wife, who is the ghost, and you, Red McGrave, who is the Banisher human. So the swapping in between, interchange during battle, is actually really, really cool. I did enjoy that. The second thing was the choices to save your love or not was important. So spoiler alert, guys. In the beginning of the game, you go to a haunting. You find out the haunting is the ultimate evil you never faced before. Kills your wife. So the first, I want to say 2 hours of the game is you kind of like come to terms with this whole thing, and then you're provided a pact. And the pact between you and your wife is either do you send your wife to heaven, or do you do whatever you have to do to bring your wife back from the dead. And so that initial pact you make determines how you operate in the game. And I suspect if you chose to bring your wife back from the dead, no matter what, your wife would probably have, who is Antea, would probably have more and more conflicting conversations with you just about what exactly is going on. So that was actually really, really good. I might play it again just so I can, now that I've beaten the game, did all the side quests, all the side hauntings, I'm probably going to play it again just to like speed run through it. Not even speed run through it, just play it all again and then just try to bring my wife back from the dead. I might just do that just to see how the ending goes, because I am curious to see how that pans out. Third thing that is good, a new super boss in every major town. So the way it works in this game, spoiler alert, I'm going to be saying spoiler. All right, so let me just get it out of the way. This game review is an entire spoiler alert. There, I said it. If you don't want to hear about the game, especially how I'm doing the game reviews, don't watch this week. Maybe next week we'll go back to Final Fantasy 7 or Dragon's Dogma, but like this whole game review is going to be spoilers alert, so please be prepared for that. There, I said it. Woo! Got it out the way. So the third good thing is a new super boss is in every major town. So what I mean by that is once you get to New Eden, you fight the ultimate evil in New Eden. The series of events happens. Your wife dies. You have to pretty much find out, one, get your wife's body back, and two, find out the real reason why New Edentown is haunted. And so the first area you go to is in the woods. It's this wood village in the woods. M. Night Shyamalan, you know, the village. So pretty much same scenario. Then you have to defeat the ultimate like evil of that village, which you find out is corresponding to the ultimate evil in New Edenstown. So for each boss you fight in a town, there's only 3 major towns you go to. You're weakening the ultimate evil. When you finally get to her, you can beat her. You can't fast forward and just go straight to the ultimate boss and fight her again. You have to play through the story. So no matter what you do, you have to play no matter what. So the first one is the Wooden Village, which is the Beast. The second one is the town of Jericho, which I think Jericho is by far my favorite one. Out of all 3, Jericho is by far my favorite one. Jericho is the puppeteer. So you find out that the person who is the ultimate, who was wrongly accused, first summons the Beast in the Wood Village because of her relationship to the Newsmiths and Case in particular. So they were lovers. So that's why she haunted the village, the Wooden Village, the village in the woods, the village hidden in the leaves. Why don't I just say Naruto? Village hidden in the leaves. The second one, when you go to Fort Jericho, you find out that the Captain Pennington was the man who shackled her and bound her to the underground mines. So that's why Fort Jericho is haunted. So he is pretty much the executioner. And then when you get to the last area, which is called the Harrows, the governor was the man who was the judge and the jury. Also pressured by the people of New Edens and the towns. So then the final one is the Inquisitor. I'm pretty sure it's called Inquisitor. Let me count on some light for you guys. Ooh, there you go. Ooh, actually I like that. So third one's the Heralds and Inquisitors. So each super boss is different. The first one was the Beast. The second was the Puppeteer, which is a giant monster that was strapped up the chains. And the third one was you were fighting yourself in a trial among your peers who weren't even your peers. So that was a little brutal. But each one of those super bosses told you a little bit about Deborah and how she was wrongly accused for being a witch. Mind you, this is like 1860 something. So like mass hysteria for witches and women who are educated. So that was definitely a like a thing back then. So there's no so there is no shying away from our history in that aspect. The fourth thing that was good. The fourth thing that was good was the investigation of ghost haunting people. So what made the game really, really... What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Alright. Sorry guys, give me a second. What's wrong? What's going on? Shh. You're okay, Papa. You're okay. Alright, we got lights on. The kids are upset because there's drama going outside, and I'm kind of curious, but I'm trying to avoid that also at the same time. So we're going to continue with this. The fourth thing that was good about the game was the investigation of the ghost haunting. What I mean by that is like all the side quests had to deal with a haunting, and a lot of the hauntings had to deal with the actions and repercussions of like just being human. Like I didn't like this person, so I got jealous of them, and then I died. But now I'm haunting this person because I'm jealous of this person. You're like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. So some of the hauntings were like, actually a lot of the hauntings, if you guys checked out my TikTok, a lot of the hauntings I thought were innocent. So I kind of just like ascended the ghost. But there are quite a few where I just like either A, I banished the ghost, or C, see, I killed the person who did the wrongdoing and banished the person. So you can do that in that game, which is when you're a ghost, you can ascend them or descend them, depending on after you do the side story. You kind of determine what you want to do. And then the third option is to blame the person who you did the side quest for. So there's a few instances where I was like, because of your actions, the person who was alive, this person is now dead. So therefore, I damn you to hell, pretty much. So then I send the actual living person to hell. The ghost makes amends, and then the ghost ascends. So like, it's the haunting side quests were really fun. I think there was probably 2 or 3 where I didn't like the side quest. I was like, oh, that's kind of weak, or I felt like the story for that side quest was lacking. So I was kind of like, I'll fly through it. But I was like 3 out of, I don't know, like 20 or 30 side quests they had. So it was really fun. And then the 5th good thing about the game was the Spectre's Nest. So like throughout the entire game, you can either fight the Scourges, which are super strong ghosts, Spectre Nests, Endless Nests, or just those 3. So Endless Nests, you can fight, keep going back to the nest repeatedly multiple times without end. But each time you go back, it gets stronger. So every time you fight an Endless, you beat the Endless. The next time you fight it again, the levels are stronger, the ghosts are stronger, the criteria is different. The Spectre nests are like the nests you guys see when you pay attention in some of the videos. Like, I'm just fighting the specters, and then in the top right corner you'll see a requirement saying, hey, if you shoot them in the head, it does extra damage. So I've tried, you gotta fight doing that combo, that criteria, or it's gonna take longer. And then the Scourge nests are just super strong ghosts. So usually they're beasts or harvesters. So you just gotta fight them however you see fit. So that's what's really cool about Banished Ghosts in the Eating was concept of fighting the ghosts, the choices to save a life, your loved one or not, the bosses that were in the 3 major towns that caused the nightmare, the ultimate ghost, which you find out is called the nightmare, not even the nightmare, you call it infamy, it's called the infamy, which you find out what is causing the whole haunting to begin with. The side quest where you're investigating the hauntings of people, and then the Spectre Nest, Endless Nest, Scourge, like the whole like fighting specters and ghouls in their nest is really cool. So now with good comes bad. So here are the 5 bad things I felt about the game. The experience system. And so what I mean by the experience system is that it's really hard to level up unless you're fighting the boss, you're doing the main story, and even at certain points the side quests, the side hauntings don't give you enough experience. So that was a downside to it that I gotta say I didn't really appreciate. The experience system wasn't right. So like, even if you fought stronger level ghosts like 27, 28, 29, 30, the experience didn't match up to what I thought would be good enough for the experience system. So that was what was a downside to it. The fight mechanics are redundant for the pair. So when you're playing as Red or Antea, the fight mechanics get really redundant, especially when you play with Antea, because she doesn't have like heavy hitting moves until you get the final ability, which is fusion. Her moves are very limited. Even the ensnaring ability, like, I didn't really use it that much in battle because I was like, I'd rather you zoom really quick from one enemy to another than me try to ensnare them. But that's just how I felt. And then for Red, you know, he had the sword, he had the musket, and it just like, I just wish the fighting was a little bit more thorough for Red, because it was like slash slash slash. The dodge was cool because I do like dodging games, but it's just the mechanics for fighting were just a little redundant at one point, so I kind of got tired of that, and I think that was a downside for me for that kind of, because the game is good, it's just the mechanics for fighting was getting redundant. I was like, you know, okay, cool. And then so that was it. Number 3 was the story towards the end seems lackluster. So as I kept progressing through the story, and you get towards the Harrows, I think the story felt like it could have ended after the second one against Fort Jericho. So once you find out that it is Deborah, and you find out the accused of like why she got shackled up and what's going on, I felt like you didn't have to do the third part, which is the Harrows. You could have just flew through it. Especially when you do the Harrows and then you start doing the side quests in the Harrows, and you find out there are individuals that were involved in the stoning of her. I was like, oh well, you know, I'm already like, I didn't need to fight this third boss, and now I'm finding out there's during this side quest after you beat the Harrows that other people were involved, which it should have just gone vice versa and be like, you should have just made me do the side quest to show me that other people were involved. And I kind of already knew the governor did something, so the fact that the Harrows was in the Harrows part was it, so it felt kind of lackluster. And then towards the end you have to find Seeker, and then this part about like trying to find who Seeker was and how she was involved with Deborah and Lammy, and you're like, okay, well that's too little too late, because I'm trying to now defeat the final boss to get my body back, and then you're making Antea and Red fight and emphasize the importance of them hurrying up, but now you have me going on this wild adventure looking for Seeker, because now Seeker is now the new witch of New Eden. So it's kind of like it just felt a little lackluster and like jumbled up and rushed towards the end, so I didn't really like that portion. The fourth thing was missing pieces of their past that really isn't explained. Alright, so throughout the game, what really makes the game entertaining is Red and Antea's communication and talking throughout the game. They have funny commentary, and I'm trying to remind myself that it is in 2024. It's like 1863. So like some of their commentary is like, and this is the guy who was in the Marines, like some of the commentary is like blunt as shit, and I'm like, oh damn, like that's right, people did just say whatever was on their mind, had no like filter, no nothing. Blessing and a curse. So the fact that when you're getting towards the end of the game, let me backtrack. When you get to the part where you're allowed to go into the void, you notice that there's something chuckling, giggling, following you around. Red asks you what's going on, and Taya says, don't worry about it, let's just get the hell out of here because whatever. Towards the very end of the game, when you have to go to the void to get to New Eden Town, it's like you finally realize that Antea is somehow a prodigy banisher. Never's mentioned that in the entire thing. You only get like little snippets of like her mom, or her mom was a doula and things like that, like a doctor. Doesn't mention much about her dad. She talks about her sisters. And Red the same way. Like Red doesn't talk much about his family, or Red talks more about his family and what he did when he served in the military when it was Scots against the Brits than Antea does talking about her past. And I guess that's how they wanted to make Antea. I just think they did a really bad job, because when it came towards the end of the game and you finally realize like the thing that was chuckling and giggling is actually the first ghost / demon Antea had ever banished, not knowing she could banish things. You were already like, what the hell is this? Like, this came out of nowhere. Like, how the hell are you just now telling me Antea is the prodigy banisher, and she defeated a ghost when she was like 7 or 8 years old and all this other stuff. So like there was not enough information about their past for you to understand, like when they make the commentary, you're like, what the heck? Especially when it comes to Antea. Like, I get it, Antea's trauma and everything, it seems like it's what stops her talking about her past, but Red is supposed to be her husband. So to not communicate even this kind of information to your husband, and maybe I am thinking in my like 2024 hat, going to therapy kind of mindset, like, please communicate with your spouse, because it's very important, because shit like this can never happen. And then like I play this game and then like shit like this happens. I'm like, what the hell? So I think that portion was what threw me off. Maybe Don't Nod can make like a DLC of like before they got there, or maybe a DLC after, but like it's just there was pieces of the past that quite didn't make sense. So I didn't think they did a good job of like throwing you into the now, because they refer to the past of like what they did with their families, and it just didn't match with the game. And then the fifth and final thing, I have a pet peeve for games that make me run everywhere and do not give me a mode of transportation to move fast with. Dragon's Dogma 2 is notorious because if I don't have money, I can't take an ox cart. The ox cart only goes certain areas. So other than that, I am forced to explore everywhere. But what makes Dragon's Dogma justifiable is because there's a cave system, there's rivers, and there are monsters everywhere. So I can literally keep myself busy as I'm running around. But eventually it gets very, very annoying when I have to run everywhere. Banishers Ghost of New Eden. I love it. They did a really good job on like the details of the water, the mountains, the snow, you know, the rain falling on on Red, and then you're like, oh, this is great. But I ran everywhere, and I just felt like at one point in the game you should have just gave me a horse, because it would have solved a lot of my problems. And yes, there is the fast travel feature at the campsites. I still have to run to the campsites. I still gotta run to town to get to the campsite, to click on the rest, and then fast track to the next campsite. But like, there's certain parts in the game where you should have just gave me a horse or something to like move insanely fast. So that was like my gripe. So the 5 bad things for me was the experience system, the fight mechanics are redundant for the pair, the story towards the end was lackluster, missing pieces of their past that really didn't explain much, and number 5 was running everywhere. So you guys definitely let me know what you think. It's something new I'm trying, especially for game reviews. It's the 5 good, the 5 bad. But you guys let me know in the comments definitely how you think about that. And if you played Banishers Ghost of New Eden, definitely let me know what you guys think of it. But without further ado, now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it, which is going to be the story. Let's see. Because I did beat the game, so just I'm going to see if it's just going to let me go back to the final section before I fight the nightmare again. I think it'll let me do that. Okay. Okay, yeah. Alright, so final boss, you come back to where your wife is left for dead. Not left for dead, posed for dead. You fight the nightmare, which I will say the final boss was anticlimactic. It wasn't that strong, or I'm just that freaking good. But we'll leave that for later. So I beat the game at level 22. These are my stats. So let's go over map first. So this is what the map looks like. I was not going to show you all of it, is it? Okay, it is. Woo, I was going to be scared. So this is what the map. So this is everything you're working for. As you can see, I beat the game at 50% map completion. So that was me kind of like playing through the story. If I saw something, I went to it. If I couldn't get to it at the time because I needed to progress through the story, I was like, all right, well, you know, whatever, my loss, I don't care, I'll keep it moving. But I really tried to get all the like altars, all the totems, everything I needed to do to kind of like move along and get as much done as possible with the game. So this is what the map is. 3 big areas you gotta look out. Is the Dark Woods is the first main area you're gonna be working in once you lose your wife. The Dark Woods, and then like the vast, like I want to say good 10 hours is just in the Dark Woods by itself. And then once you beat that, you go over to Mount Pleasant. So this is Fort Jericho, and then I want to say you probably spend about a good 15 hours in Mount Pleasant, Fort Jericho, because it's a lot of things to do, and there's a lot that happens in Fort Jericho. And then the Mire Marshes is where Seeker is, and also where Sheridan is, the first old witch. So like that's not too big of a detail, but it is the focal point of how you're going to be able to get to New Eden is through the Mire Marshes. And then the Harrows. Heralds wasn't that impressive. The only thing that was cool about the Heralds was one, there was a giant hole in the ground, and two, there's like a sunken ship there. And you do get to go to the beach, so there's a lot of stuff to do along the beach. But other than that, the Heralds is probably the faster of the three, so it wasn't that hard to kind of go through. But also by then I was like, you're 20 plus 30 hours in the game, so you're kind of like, all right, like I know what to do. But yeah, that's the map. And then New Eden, when you get back to New Eden, it's really small. It's just guide your way through. Boom, here's the boss. Beat the boss. Listen to the commentary. Boom. The choices you made up to now, you can now either ascend your wife or bring her back from the dead. Whatever choice you made with her. All right. So this is equipment. Equipment upgrades all the way up to 7, but it requires ingredients, resources. So it gets, I think once you get to the 3rd one, you can progress. When you start the game, you start at 1. When you get to 3rd level, which is enhanced, you're gonna have to go into like Mount Pleasant. So you have to continue the story. So the way I'm understanding the equipment upgrade is you cannot upgrade past the area you're in. So if you don't progress through the story, you can't max out your equipment. So like usually, you know how some games are, like you'll just keep going. You don't care. You don't have to continue the story, and you can max out all your equipment, and then boom, like you fight the boss. It's easy. This game puts a like stop to the enhancement of your equipment too fast. Because I think by the time I got to the 2nd area, I think, yeah, my rings were maxed out, like relic. I maxed them out, which is rare. You're not supposed to, but like I just somehow was able to do with the rings. So you have to progress through the story in order to get the items you need to upgrade your equipment. So 7 is the highest. Relic, pristine, remarkable, rare, enhanced, common, and rudimentary. And then there's also different equipment. So you can change it based on your playstyle, but please remember, like, you do have to upgrade those items also. So it's going to be it's going to be a good idea for you guys to scavenge whenever you're in the town or area or running through the woods. You have to scavenge for everything, and then especially as you get higher and higher, they're going to start asking for like nest silts, so you gotta find specter nests, scourge hearts, so you gotta find scourge nests. So a lot of this is gonna be built on you finding the nests for these specters and ghouls and monsters, fighting them, being them, in order to get the more rare stuff in order for you to upgrade to the higher level. So this is the equipment. Outfits, saber and firebang, which is for, so this is how I think of it. Left side is for red, right side is for Antea. So armor, the sword, the rifle, and the decoctions, which are health potions, are for red. And then the amulet, wristband, the brooch, and the bane rings are for Antea. So I tried to max out more on Antea because I like her fighting style, because she can teleport towards the enemy really quick, and then she has like this final explosion technique that I really enjoy. So I like using Antea, but don't downplay not using red, because when you're using Antea for fighting, it gets limited. So like depending on her spirit energy, the more you use her, the less and less it drops, and once it drops, you have to go back to red, and then red has to replenish it back up. So you got to be very mindful on how like the dynamics move. So you can't stick with one person only. Like you have to use it interchangeable, and the bosses will use that kind of weakness against you. So like just got to be mindful for that. But that's pretty much the equipment. 7 is the highest, and then you can kind of customizability of the character in terms of the equipment. I do enjoy, but it doesn't necessarily change the fighting style. So like if I got a new rifle, it's not like, oh, you can take 2 shots simultaneously. Like, it doesn't work that way. If I got a better sword, it doesn't say, oh, red can now use, like, I don't know, Spanish conquistador saber techniques. Like, it doesn't work that way. So it's kind of weird on that side. But you do grow levels, and for every haunting case you get what is called we'll go to the next tab. It's called Evolution. It's either I might as well go to the next tab. So you're either going to get this red talisman if you banish them, if you banish the ghost or banish a person, and then you'll get a green waves, which is the ascended. So I have a lot of ascended because I wanted to ascend. I made the promise to my wife to ascend her, so I made the promise to her to ascend her, so I ascended her. So I have a lot more of the ascension coins than I do the banish coins, but the evolution works based on the progression of the story. So when you first get Antea, all she knows is the leap ability, which is pretty much jumping towards your enemy. So that's actually really, really cool. That's like my favorite part of this game, is like jumping towards my enemy and not giving them a chance. And then you can kind of like customize however you see fit, how your playstyle works. Once you beat the Village Hidden the Leaf, the Beasts boss, you get Outburst. So Outburst is what I mentioned earlier, which is like the final explosion. You like boom, blow up. So that's actually really, really cool because you can make the final explosion stronger, stronger, stronger. So that's really, really cool. So that's why I like the. So those are my two, Leap and Outburst, but those are on the Ghost side. Red doesn't have any of those kind of cool features and mechanics, so it's kind of like meh, you know. Once you beat Fort Jericho, you get Ensnare, which is pretty much trapping your enemies. I'm not really a fan of trapping enemies. I'm just in there to slaughter, so I kind of did not use Ensnare as often as probably I should be. But Ensnare is also the ability you have to have because it's one of the reasons why there's vines everywhere in the game once you get further and further in the game, and Ensnare is what stops you, allows you to like beat the vines and stuff. So you kind of have to have it. That, and you have to progress the story, so no matter what, you got to get it. And then the last one is Fusion. So Fusion is the equivalent of Red's like ultimate banishing technique, which Fusion is Antea's version of that. So she can now at Fusion take control of Red, use his sword, and so it's probably the best spell like best ultimate technique I could ever think of, because I was like, dang, this is actually pretty cool. So like, but you won't get that until you beat the Heralds. So by the time you beat the Heralds, you get Fusion, like the game's almost over. So you're like, all right, like run it, like I'm gonna beat the boss with it. So I pretty much beat the Nightmare with Fusion, like Fusion and Banish. I was juking and dodging, Banish, switch, Fusion, unleash, charge it back up, switch, Banish, Fusion. Like I just kept going back and forth. So like that's pretty much evolution. And then you can change it based on your playstyle and how you want to play it. So there is a little bit of diversity in terms of Antea and how you use her for mechanic wise. And then some of these benefit Red, but the benefit isn't as strong as it should be. So there's the kind of like that. All right, so let's see. Here we go. This is the story. So Chronicles progresses the story. So you pretty much just have to follow the story, and they give you like a little synopsis of what's happening. 4 stories in total. You go to New Eden, and then you go to the Dark Woods, and then the Dark Woods, which is the Beast. Once you beat the Beast, then you go see Seeker and the Witch, and then once you see the Witch, you go to Mount Pleasant. But Mount Pleasant is Pennington, so then you have to do the haunting cases at Pennington, and then once you're done with that, you gotta go to the Heralds, and then once you do the Heralds, you get to do solve that haunting for that, and then once you're done, you gotta go back to New Eden and then beat. So that's pretty much it. It doesn't seem that long because you're like, oh, that's pretty easy, fly by. But I put 38 hours, almost 40 hours into this game, and as you guys can see, like 50% of the maps, like all that, like I was like enjoying myself and not really in the rush to beat the game. I was doing the side quests, and there's like additional things. Let me go back to the map. Like you'll see these other little quest marks. I don't know if they are continuous, if they're more side quests, or they're just like, oh, if you're really interested. So I haven't really touched those. I might do that in the second time around, just to see what exactly goes on forward. But I didn't think there was anything really useful to it because the side quests are in blue. So once you do all the hunting cases, like, what is the extra stuff you're going to be doing? All right, so these are the haunting cases. So the first one you do is when you get to New Eden is your best friend Charles, who is the one who asked for your help. So this is the reason why you're even in New Eden Town. And then the Dark Woods. These are the haunting cases that happen in the Dark Woods. Now as you progress through the story, more haunting cases open up throughout the map, so you won't get all these all at once. The main one is going to be the New Smith sisters, and then after that, like, it starts opening up more and more. And then once you get to Mount Pleasant, the main one is Pennington, but as you progress through the story, more and more of the haunted cases will open up. I don't know if they even tell you. Will they tell you if I banished? I don't think they do. Let me see. Oh, yes, they do. So, look. Joshua Gage, I gave him an ascent. So after hearing his story, I was like, hey, bro, you did no wrong. I ascend you. I'm trying to show you one where I banished them, guys. Is this the rum balls? No, I ascend. Oh, yes. Abigail, I did banish because Abigail was not who Abigail thought she was. Abigail was actually possessed by a demon. So we had to banish her ghost and the demon. So, like, that was a rough one. I banished Rebecca because she lied, and also she was a slave owner, but she lied. It was a rough one. It wasn't. I think the slave owning was one thing, but it was more of like she wanted a guarantee from him, so she kept him as a slave. But then she wrote in her will that he can have everything. So it was very weird. I don't know. It was a tough one, but I did banish her. So, like, as you progress, as you go into the stories, and then you start doing the side quests, like, you can choose to banish people or not, or banish the ghosts or not. Even the main story. So, like, I didn't banish Pennington because it was like, do I stick with Helen, who is being manipulated by the puppeteer, and her loss of her husband, or do I take in the L for Pennington, who's already damned himself to hell, because it's like the lesser of two evils. So I kept Pennington. So that was kind of easy. And then the Harrows is the last one you go to. Did not like her, but I actually ascended her ghost. Should have banished her. Did not like her for the sheer fact was she was the one who blamed Deborah for the crashing of her husband's ship and was the first one to put the stone on her. So I really did not like her, but I thought, you know what's even worse than dying? Living through it. So because she's only old, she probably has a couple more years, I kept her alive so that she can constantly remember what she did and feel bad for it. So I don't know, I might be a little bit more diabolical, but yeah, I let her live. Oh yeah, I banished the cobbler, the O'Hara sisters I ascended, the school teacher I ascended, the brewers I ascended also, and then the pariahs I ascended. So, like, each one of these side quests, which you see, so like the Haskells is the main story, and then around the Haskells are all the side quests. So each one of the side quests tells a little different story about what's going on in New Eden, Boston, Massachusetts, like the Massachusetts area going on during this time. And some of these side quests correspond directly to what happened to the main story. So it's kind of in your best interest to play through the entire thing, especially the side stories, so you can kind of get a better picture of what's happening in the main story. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get more details on what's going on between Red and Antea and like their personal past. So that's like kind of a downside. But yeah, I really definitely say without a shadow of a doubt, do all the side quests. They're very fun. Some of them are meh. Like, let me see. The O'Hara sisters I thought was lackluster. Bathsheba, lackluster, like that wasn't a good one. Even the Hunters, that wasn't really that good. The nurse and her patient was kind of sad, so like that was sad. But yeah, so that's pretty much the game in a nutshell. You solve each haunting. Each haunting progresses through the story, so it's kind of singular. Like, if you just did the main thing, you could have beat the boss, and it might have been a little harder because like I think you probably been like level 16 or whatever. But I did all the side quests, the side haunting cases, and everything like that, and so like it worked really well for me. So like when I got to the final boss was easy. It was easy. So now that you guys kind of see how the game looks, this is the mechanics of the game, what the haunting cases look like, evolution in terms of fighting style for Antea and Red. I will go over the big four, which is why I chose the game, did I beat it or not, what I thought about the game, and is it worth buying. So the first one, why I chose the game. I chose this game because I saw gameplay for it last year, and I was like, oh, you know, this is actually pretty interesting. I want to try to see what this game is about. I am a sucker for horror stories. I love horror stories. I watch horror story movies. I pretty much burned through all the Amazon Prime's horror story movies. That's why they keep giving me indie movie, Thai movie horror movies, because I've like blown through all American horror movies. I really do like it. And the fact that there was it was a couple. Like, I never played a game where two people you can use interchangeably to solve case and fight ghosts. Two, well, I mean, it's obvious, like, one's a black woman, so I was like, so easy win. Three, it's like 1800s, no, 1900s, because that's 18, okay, 1900s, like early America, and like one of the most haunted places all known to America, which is Massachusetts. So like, fire, sold. And it got rid of all of like the high tech stuff that I'm used to playing. It was like, hey man, here's a sword and a gun and some healing potions. Like, run this game. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, let's see what it's about. So as I played through the game, I very much enjoyed it. I wish some of the fighting and storytelling was a little better, but I really did love the game, and I chose the game because it was like something completely different. Haunting ghost stories, allows me to kind of fight how I saw fit between the two, and plus I never fought as a ghost before, so I was like, oh, this is definitely going to be a breadwinner for me. So I definitely did that. That's what kind of drew me to the game. Did I beat it or not? Well, yes, I did beat the game. Like, beat it hands down. Ended the game. Towards the end of this, I will replay the last section of the game, but like I beat the game. Like, there is no questioning that, hands down. What I thought the game, as I mentioned earlier, I gave you guys the 5 good things and the 5 bad things. I definitely think the game is a really good game. Towards the end of the game, it got a little lackluster in terms of storytelling, but throughout the entire game, like, it was really cool. Just to be fighting ghosts and specters and haunted skeleton bodies and haunted farmers and haunted riflemen and haunted dogs and wolves, and so like that was really cool. And then to be speaking with the ghost and like trying to communicate with the dead to let the living know what's going on. I really did appreciate that. So that was really nice of it. And then lastly, is it worth buying? I will be honest with you, I think this game is worth buying once it hits on sale. Mind you, this game I think was $50, $40, so it's not your PS5 rating of 60. I think it was like $50. And I enjoyed it. It did, like I mentioned, I'll keep saying again, it did get lackluster towards the end. So I definitely think this game is a good game. You just want to get it when it's on sale. So with that being said, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, this game for Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, I am definitely giving it a 4 out of 5. The graphics were a 4 out of 5. The storyline was a 3 out of 5. It was getting very lackluster towards the end. The mechanics of the game is a 3 out of 5. Just because I wish there was a lot more to do in terms with Red, because you gave a lot of, like, Antea, like, hands down, like, if you could just stay the ghost, then this game probably be a lot better. But you had to interchange between the two, so that's what kind of made it rough. And then the storyline towards the end just made the dynamic between the two a little bit more lackluster. So yeah, that's what I think. Coco 7 Loco. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. So with that, I'm going to show you guys the ending again. Not the boss ending, but like me saying goodbye to my wife. And that's pretty much it. This is Banishers Ghost of New Eden, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it like I did. Especially the game review. Like button. Hit the like button. Definitely comment if you guys want more information on Banishers Ghost of New Eden. But let me say goodbye to my wife again.
The circle is complete.
Oh, sorry. This is the boss. Oh, shoot. We're gonna fight the boss.
Do you return to the beginning?
I guess you guys will get to see the boss fight again. Telling you the boss was anticlimactic. Like it was. That was pretty easy.
A paradox. How clever. How it pleases you to play with time.
I do not play.
Deborah, we know what happened to you. We know what they did to you.
What they did. What they do. Oh, shut up.
We're not here to hurt you. You have my body and I want it back. That's all. Help us. Because we can help you.
No, you cannot.
Yo, I thought she was gonna be hard, and then I started putting in the work.
You will pay.
See what I'm saying, guys? Like the ensnare is only for one at a time, and
You are just like them.
here we go. Bash. Bam. Hit her with the boom. Laka laka laka. Bam. Hit her in the chest. Bam. Hit her in the chest. Bam. Hit her. I'm telling you. Boom. Boom. Bam. Hit her again. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you, like, by the time I got to her, I think it's because all my equipment was like maxed out damn near. I was like owning this lady. I was like, golly, was she supposed to be this hard?
There is no escape.
Boom. Yeah.
Ask for help if you need it.
Bam. Headshot. Bam. Another one. Bam. I'm telling you guys. Too slow. I don't know what to say, guys. She was pretty easy. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy. Alright, you guys will like it. Deborah. Deborah? Deborah.
You are me. Yet you oppose me.
I catch up.
They murdered us. Make them pay. No. They do not deserve our rage, not these two.
Alright, Papa. Come on.
All deserve our wrath.
You should stretch it on
They
me.
crushed the
Come here.
breath from
Come on.
us.
Up, up. 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 Thank you.
You asked for this.
It's going to be hot. Okay.
Not anymore.
Thank you, baby.
It's over. You have been heard. The truth
You gonna help me fight the boss? Or
is
are you just
out.
gonna... Okay, you're just gonna hang out with me. Alright, you're gonna hang out with me.
Feed upon the pain, the treachery, the outrage!
No more. It hurts.
Take it easy.
Behold
It's uncomfortable for me too, buddy. Alright, round
They
2.
locked us up!
Bam. Oof. Boom. Bam. Block. With ketchup in thy hand, we are invincible. Boom. Switch. Boom. Didn't even stand a chance.
They will subdue you once more!
They seek a monster. Don't give it to them.
And we're gonna hit you with this. Hit him with them shackles. Oof. Toma tu fiesta.
No one stood for us! They used us!
Now you use me.
Alright, switch to attack. Bam.
They started it! Do not turn your back on me!
Take the headshot, please. Take the headshot.
They
Got him.
seek a monster. Don't give it to
You
them.
messing with ketchup? Leave your brother alone. Leave your brother alone. Kid.
They turned their
Alright,
back on
last
us!
one. Oof, take that headshot, please. Oof, take it again. Headshot. You are good luck, big guy. I'm over here headshotting this chick. Oof. Woo! Yeah, right. Let's make it a little risky, shall we? Oof. Fusion. Bam. Joop. Look at this. Look at this. And the last one. Game, check, mate. Oh no, I feel the same way. Alright. Is it getting hot for you?
If they live, they win. All of them.
Enough pain now.
There must be a reckoning.
The pain may end right now. The
This is all you
reckoning
wanted,
is
huh?
here.
Spare me your compassion, for it comes far too late.
Who are you?
I am retribution.
A word. An idea. But who are you?
I am her fury.
No longer.
I am their nightmare.
You were.
You believe you've won? It will not be so easy. For I need your dreams.
If you're high, you can get up. No? Okay.
Is that an end to it?
Yes. If you want it to be.
Are you sure?
It's alright,
In your
Ketchup.
hand,
You're
you
okay,
weigh my
Ketchup.
death.
You're okay, Papa.
The last stone laid upon my broken body.
I'm so very sorry.
Yeah?
Will you leave?
Okay.
Are you ready?
I have lingered so very long. Where now will I go?
I don't know. A better place, I believe. A quiet place.
Quiet is good.
Deborah Comenius, mere words can ill describe your suffering. And if they could, I'd not utter them now. Enough wrong has been done you. Your tale is told. And we thank you for it. You are hurt. And free to go.
Hey, I'm right here.
Aye, you are.
The time has come. And I must go.
That was the promise I made.
We've done good work here. We've made my death count for something.
Someday, we'll meet again.
Take all the time in the world. I love you, Rory McWraith.
These years I've spent by your side have made me a better man. You've taught me to survive. You've taught me to live. Thank you. From my heart of hearts, thank you. Farewell, my love.
Death for the dead.
Life for the living.
What's up, big guy? Huh? You want to say hi? Ketchup says hi, everybody. He says hi. watching the game ending again. What? What? Papa, you're not a puppy no more. You big.
If grief is an odyssey through hell, then what appears to be the end is often just a beginning. New Eden never recovered. For years, neither did Red. But in time, the pain of Antea's loss faded, and only the bittersweet beauty of their love lived on in his memory. Who knows? Perhaps, years from now, a legendary Scotsman, his hair grey, shall sit with his children and many apprentices and tell them a story. The tale of his beloved Antea. Of how she lived, and how she died, and how together, in New Eden, they lifted a curse and defeated a nightmare.
Yeah, that's it, guys. All right, Papa. All right, well, as you can see, my little man Ketchup is with me because he wanted to see the ending of the game again. But yes, so guys, that is Banishers Ghost of New Eden's ending of 1 of 3. So you kind of got to see how the game ended, and this also concludes the Banishers Ghost of New Eden game review. So just to let you guys know, it is a 4 out of 5 for me from Coco 7 Loco. If you guys definitely think otherwise, or think I should have any questions or concerns, definitely hit me up on Twitch, YouTube, Kick, TikTok, IG, freaking Facebook. You let me know without a doubt. Definitely hit the like button, definitely subscribe, and it is Coco 7 Loco, so COCOA 7 Loco on YouTube and all the platforms. But definitely, you guys, that is the ending for tonight. Next week we'll get back to, I haven't decided, it might just be Dragon's Dogma again, but I'm also think I'm getting towards the end of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so we shall see. But yeah, definitely be on the lookout. I'm gonna be posting a lot more some shorts and things like that, especially for this review and the ending of the game. So be on the lookout for that for this weekend. You'll probably see some more posts of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because I am starting to get the Mojo Jojo for it. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is getting the flow. And today, officially, Final Fantasy 16 Rising Tide has came out. So I will be playing that also. So definitely, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, which is Friday, tomorrow, yay, and enjoy your weekend. Until next week, I hope you guys stay safe and take